Public schools in some parts of the Bay Area have started to reopen over the past few weeks. It comes as a big relief for many parents and children who want to get back to in-person learning. Many private schools have been open since last fall, but as we reported at the top of this newscast, there is still no date of a specific timeline to reopen public schools in San Francisco. It has become a very polarizing issue whether or not it is safe for teachers and students to return to class, to in-person learning. An Oakland mother who feels very strongly about kids going back to school joins us now. Rebecca Bodenheimer, it's nice to have you with us tonight. Let's begin with your letter. You wrote a very passionate letter and published it on Medium. This is an issue, obviously, that's very frustrating to a lot of people. Why do you believe so strongly that kids need to be back in school?
I thank you for having me on. And I think first and foremost, kids are not doing well as a whole. Um, Many kids are depressed. They feel isolated. Some kids are not learning well by themselves. For example, my own son, he's just completely disengaged with the Zoom learning. He needs to be around his peers and other kids to be able to learn. He needs that social experience. And we've seen with the skyrocketing mental health emergencies, even an uptick in student suicides, that kids are just really not okay. And we don't really see any other part of the world that is waiting this long to get kids back to school. It's like the basic principles of childhood development have not vanished just because there's a pandemic.
We are seeing COVID numbers dropping. More people than ever now are getting vaccinated. And if you follow the science, even the CDC says that reopening schools is an urgent priority. So when you hear about things like what's happening in San Francisco with the public school district, they still have no specific date or timeline for a reopening. What's your response to that?
Frustration and disbelief. I myself am a product of San Francisco Unified K through 12. And and so just to see what's been happening with the terrible and really tone deaf decisions that the San Francisco Board of Education is making lately in really prioritizing everything but reopening, which is, I think, the equity issue of our time, is really sad for me. Because up till now, I've been a proud alumna of San Francisco Unified. On the other side of the Bay, I'm an Oakland Unified parent, and Oakland seems even further behind. There just seems to be no urgency at all by the district and the union to really come to a deal and get our schools open.
Rebecca, when you did your research for the long letter that you published in Medium, what are your thoughts? I want to get this on. A lot of teachers and parents still feel that they aren't safe, that it's not safe to go back to in-person learning. So we have to try to be sensitive, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion and understand their feelings and their concerns. But in your research, what would you say to address those concerns?
I would say as far as the fear surrounding COVID, I think that's completely reasonable. Um, as far as teachers having that fear. However, I think what we've seen is that fear is largely unfounded. There have been schools even in this country and across Europe that have been open since September. There have been private schools in the Bay Area that have been open for months, and we haven't seen those large outbreaks. In fact, all of the data is saying that schools are much safer than the surrounding community, and that transmission tends to be very low within schools. So first of all, I think, the fears by teachers are somewhat unfounded, and there hasn't really been a catching up to the science in terms of their stance. As for parents, and particularly parents that feel that their children have often not been served well by the school district, I'm totally in favor of them continuing to have a choice to stay remote and to keep their kids in remote learning if that's what they need, and to see, to kind of take a wait and see approach and see what happens when those of us who really want and need to send our kids back do that and see that it is safe. So I completely respect
All right.
those different points of view. It's just that we also would like a choice to send our kids back.
Well, we really appreciate you taking time to express your feelings. I know a lot of people are, there's so many mixed opinions about this, and it is nice to see that there is a push now to get more teachers vaccinated, and hopefully schools can reopen for these kids. Can I know there are parents, there are kids that want to be back in school. Rebecca Bodenheimer, thanks for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.